Are we alone? Could life exist elsewhere? There is an answer out there, and that's very empowering.
Astronomer Jill Tarter is determined to get to the truth. She's devoted most of her life to SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. First as a grad student, then at NASA, now at the SETI Institute. Tarter is one of the most significant advocates for this science, which is why in 2004, Time magazine named her as one of the most influential people in the world.
As I was growing up, I think I've always figured that there would be some small creature on a planet around one of those stars, and looking back and seeing our sun as a star in their sky.
Later at UC Berkeley, Jill's fascination with extraterrestrial life intensified. She discovered a NASA study that proposed using radio telescopes to listen for evidence of life on other planets because sound travels further than the eye can see.
And I was just so entranced by the fact I happened to be alive at the right time, that I could be part of that.
It wasn't long before Jill began working for NASA as a SETI project scientist.
I was, I think, probably the first individual that signed up to do SETI as a full-time scientific career.
Unfortunately, NASA's SETI funding was cut.
That was pretty dark. But people were so enthusiastic about what we were doing that we said, okay, well, let's go raise the funds privately.
As a result, the nonprofit SETI Institute was born.
And so my approach was to say, okay, why don't we legitimize this science, build up the credibility?
Jill did this by pushing forward with an ambitious search, originally planned for NASA, called Project Phoenix.
We were able to go ahead and do exactly what NASA had planned, 1,000 stars using telescopes in Australia, in West Virginia, and in Puerto Rico. It's named Phoenix because we had to rise up from the ashes of congressional termination.
The search lasted for 10 years. No signal was detected, but it did uncover new information about space.
It's hard to express how big the universe is and how vast the search that we're trying to undertake actually is.
Determined to search even further into space, Jill turned her attention to a new kind of technology in remote Shasta County, the Allen Telescope Array. The project has been a labor of love.
The Allen Telescope Array was designed by a team of people, but two of those people were my husband, Jack Welch, and myself. And our dining room table was the drawing board for an awful lot of that telescope. And Jack and I got to work on it 24 hours a day.
We needed something that would allow us to cover a lot of the sky. So that means many small antennas.
We've built 42 telescopes. We'd like it to grow to 350 telescopes to become more sensitive. And we couldn't do this 10 years ago. We just didn't have the compute power. It took us 10 years using other people's telescope to look at 1,000 stars. I think in this next 10 years, we'll look at a few million to 10 million stars.
Jill knows that some question the logic of waiting for a signal that may never come.
People often say, come on, SETI's been looking for 50 years and they haven't found anything. Doesn't that mean that there's nothing out there? Yes, it's been 50 years, but think about it. That's 50 years in a galaxy that's 10 billion years old. It's not a really long time in any absolute sense. We're just beginning.
When that day comes, Jill will be listening and waiting to make contact.